I don't think it's recording. Oh, there we go. All right. Thank you, everyone. So, for our first author, I'd like to introduce our first author. Um, Ms. Jenica Leah is an industry specialist for sickle cell education, having won multiple awards for her children's book series on sickle cell and her sickle cell health and lifestyle blog. She is also the founder of JLG Publishing, inspiring and nurturing new writers to bring their stories to life. I want children living with sickle cell to feel confident about their condition and to not feel limited in what they can do. She is offering a 2-for-1 special for all attendees, and you can purchase her book at her website, My Friend Jen. And we will put the link in the chat. There is a coupon code as well. Without further ado, I'd like to turn over the mic to Miss Jenica Leah. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's lovely to be here. It's an honor to be here. I'm glad that I've been invited amongst some amazing people, I must say. And I'm really looking forward to, reading my books. So there are actually two books in the series. My Friend Jen. The first one is a little different, which is the one that I'm going to be reading today. And the second book is called The Checkup. So the offer that Miss Rowley was mentioning is so that you can get both of these books as like a 2-for-1. So I hope you guys take advantage of that, which I've created just for this event especially. And yes, I'm going to go ahead and start reading my book. So, My Friend Jen, A Little Different. And this is the first book in the series of My Friend Jen. So I hope everyone can hear me. I think everyone can hear me. So I'm going to, okay, cool. I've seen that. So I'm going to go ahead. And before I start the story, I just wanted to share this page because on the first page of every book, on the first page of each of the books, I have a little message that I've written from one sickle cell warrior to another. These messages are usually relating to how I was feeling at the time when I wrote the books. So they're different in each book and will continue to be. So the message in the first book says, just like Jen, there is nothing that you cannot do. Having sickle cell will not stop you from being whatever you want to be. So dream big. If you are ever in pain and feeling sad, remember that you are not alone. So be brave, be strong, and never stop smiling. And that's just a little message that I want to share with all of the readers of this book. So let's go ahead and get into My Friend Jen. My Friend Jen is as fun as can be. She has big bushy hair and is shorter than me. With her very loud laugh and little button nose, Jen wears a big smile wherever she goes. Jen loves to dance and loves to sing. Together we love doing everything. There is nothing that my friend Jen can't do, but on the inside, she's a little different to me and you. Jen has an illness called sickle cell, but from the outside, you can't tell. She has red blood cells shaped like a letter C, so sometimes her blood doesn't flow properly. Her cells can clump together and block her veins and cause a sickle crisis, which can last for days. Jen doesn't know when she may get sick. The pain can be bad and come on very quick. This image just shows the normal cell, the sickle cell, and it also shows the blood flowing in a sickle cell crisis and when not in crisis. So one of my favorite pages though. If my friend Jen has lots of pain, she goes to the hospital to get better again. The doctors and nurses all work very hard, and I make Jen happy by bringing her a card. Where even when my friend Jen is not well, she keeps on smiling, so you can't really tell. She laughs and giggles like nothing is wrong. My friend Jen is brave and ever so strong. There are some things that Jen can do that can keep herself healthy, like me and you. When Jen does these things, she stays fit and well and has no problems with her sickle cell. And here's Jen being fit and strong. Jen has to keep warm all the time. She loves when it's hot and the sun shines. Playing outside is Jen's favorite thing to do. When Jen wraps up warm, I do too. We wear our coats, hats, scarves, and gloves. We get so padded up, we can just about hug. We play, we skip, we dance around, we laugh until we fall to the ground. If it's raining, windy, or icy on the floor, Jen and I will play indoors. We play hide and seek or I spy or pretend to be superheroes that can fly. If Jen gets cold, it can make her unwell. It's a part of having sickle cell. It has been this way since Jen was born. If she's inside or outside, Jen keeps warm. My friend Jen has to drink a lot. She could get sick if she does not. Jen takes her bottle wherever she goes. The bottle is pink and the lid is gold. Jen fills her bottle up right to the top, then does it again when she's finished the lot. She uses the toilet quite a bit, but drinking plenty keeps Jen healthy and fit. Having sickle cell can cause tiredness, so my friend Jen needs lots of rest. If we have a day that's been full of fun, Jen goes to bed before everyone. Some days, Jen and I will just relax. We'll snuggle on the sofa and have lots of snacks. We still have fun while having a rest. And I think that these days are the best. Let's see. My friend Jen stays fit and well when she takes care of her sickle cell. There is nothing that my friend Jen can't do, but on the inside, she's a little different to me and you. And that is my friend Jen. That's all. I hope that you guys enjoyed the first book, and I'll leave the second book for you guys to enjoy when you take advantage of the 2-for-1 offer. So be sure to. Thank you, guys.
And tell us a little bit about you and the process and how this came about.
I will. So these books, as you can probably tell, Jen is based on a younger version of me, Janika. So the whole reason why I wanted to write these books is because when I was growing up, I really felt like there wasn't anything like this that could explain what I was going through, how I was feeling, and some of the experiences that I was having to friends, family, and loved ones. So things like missing school, being in hospital quite a lot. I didn't really have anything, and it made me grow up quite isolated because I wasn't able to express myself. So I wanted to create something that I wish that I had when I was younger, to kind of give children growing up with sickle cell today a peace of mind that I didn't have myself. So that was the motivation behind writing both the books. They're not actually kind of biography style books. They're very much based on sickle cell and not more or less me. So the first book, as you just heard, is about how you can stay well with sickle cell and the things that we can do. The second book is actually about going to the hospital for a checkup. So it just shows different things like having your blood pressure, your height and weight, and temperature taken, normal things that a child with living with sickle cell would have to experience. And the series will continue on that trend.
So you have more in store.
Oh yeah, there's more.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And I'm sorry that I mispronounced your name. So, Janika. And so, thank you so much for being a part of our first Authors Corner. And what we're going to do now is turn it over to Tanya Gentry. And then we'll invite you guys back, see if they have any questions before we turn it over to Dr. Kim Smith Whitley. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So, Tanya Gentry is a sickle cell warrior surviving sickle cell SC disease. She is a sickle cell advocate and a new published author. She was the president of the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America San Diego chapter for 12 years, and with the association for a total of 15. After retiring, she wanted a way to reach sickle cell warriors around the world. She wanted to uplift, inspire, and encourage all warriors. It was very important to her to give our young warriors a character they can relate to and see themselves. From her passion for kids and the sickle cell community, Pee Wee Goes to School was born. You can purchase her book here through Fulton Books, and we are going to put that as well in the chat. So, without further ado, Tanya, take it away.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate this platform. Um, I wanted to, can you see my book? Do I need to speak up a little bit? Okay, I wanted to read my first book. This is a chapter series, Pee Wee Goes to School. My first page in the book is a dedication to the sickle cell warriors, and it reads, I dedicate this book to all sickle cell warriors in the world. Stay strong. Your health is your wealth. Take care of yourself. You have a purpose here on earth. The strength you hold is incredible. Once you find your purpose, you will be unstoppable. You can be and do anything you put your mind to. You are champions. Lead with love and live your life to the fullest. And I'll go ahead and get into Pee Wee Goes to School. Hi, my name is Pee Wee. I'm so excited. I'm going to a new school tomorrow. Everything has to be perfect. Pants check, shirt check, socks and shoes check. Now I'm ready for school tomorrow. My dad's in the military, so we have to move sometimes. I have to attend a new school. It's no fun when I have to leave my friends, but my dad says life is about change, so keep moving forward. I have an older sister named Jada, who's going to the same school, just a different grade. I'm sure glad my sister will be with me. Pee Wee, we're going to go to your school a little early tomorrow so we could speak to your teacher about your sickle cell anemia and your needs, says Pee Wee's mom. Okay, Mom. My mom's a nurse. She loves taking care of people. Sometimes she has to take extra care of me because I have sickle cell anemia. What is sickle cell, you may ask? Good question. Sickle cell is a red blood cell disorder. Sometimes my blood cells become sticky and clump together. When this happens, it's called a pain crisis, and I might have to go to the hospital. At the hospital, I may have to have oxygen, an IV, and medication to feel better. The problem is, sickle cells do not carry enough oxygen through my body. Lack of oxygen can affect my vital organs. Vital organs are the parts inside our bodies, like our hearts, that make us able to run, jump, and play. I'm just like you, but I have things I have to do to stay healthy, like drink plenty of water, eat a balanced diet, exercise, and sometimes take medicine. Sickle cell is not who I am, it's just a part of my life I have to deal with. After dinner, the night before his first day at his new school, Pee Wee got ready for bed. He said his prayer and then jumped into bed, excited for the big day. And this is one of my favorite diagrams showing all the organs in the body and also the cells being clumped up and how they can be clumped up and go into a sickle cell crisis. The next morning, Pee Wee woke up and said, I thought the morning would never come. Today is the big day. I'm going to my new school. Good morning, Pee Wee, said Pee Wee's mom and dad. Good morning. Are you ready for school? His parents asked. Yes, I am. Pee Wee's dad replied, okay, remember what I told you. Change is good. Be yourself. You're an awesome person. You should have no problem making friends. Okay, Dad. Okay, have a good day. I'll see you tonight, said Pee Wee's dad. When Pee Wee walked outside, he felt the sun on his face and heard the birds chirping. Upon arriving at school, Pee Wee jumped out of the car, ready for his day. Once in the classroom, Pee Wee's mom greeted the teacher. Good morning, Miss Phillips. This is Pee Wee. He's in your class this year. Miss Phillips smiled and said, hi, Pee Wee. Pee Wee's mom looked to Miss Phillips and said, we wanted to talk to you about Pee Wee's sickle cell and his needs to stay healthy in order to have a good day. Pee Wee's mom went on to say, Pee Wee will need to drink plenty of water throughout his day, which may cause him to have a few restroom trips. If he stays hydrated, he will be okay. He will be fine. He's in good hands, said Miss Phillips. And with that, Pee Wee's mom left. No one noticed the kid listening at the door. Then a group of kids on the playground started whispering to each other, that kid Pee Wee has sickle cell. What's that? I don't know, but he can't touch me. Me either. He has the cooties. Yeah, the cooties. Then the whispers got louder, and someone in the crowd said out loud, that kid has the sickle cell cooties. Don't touch him. I heard it's contagious, said another. Jada saw what was happening and said to the group of kids standing together, my brother doesn't have cooties. He's not contagious. He has sickle cell. He goes through a lot, and it's not funny. Just because he has to do things differently doesn't make him a bad person. Jada ended by saying, you might make a new friend if you just give him a chance. This really hurt Pee Wee's feelings. He sat alone at recess. Then the bell rang. Once back in class, Pee Wee just sat there. He had never been treated like that before. He wasn't sure what to do. After school, Jada asked Pee Wee, you okay? Yeah. You sure? Yeah. Are you feeling okay? Jada asked. Yeah, I'm okay, just tired. Pee Wee knew his sister was just being protective, but he didn't know what to say. Once in the car, Pee Wee's mom said, hey, guys, how was your day? Good. replied Jada. How was your first day of school, Pee-wee? It was okay. Just okay? What's wrong? Pee-wee just shrugged and said, I don't know. Talk to mommy, sweetheart. What's wrong? The kids made fun of me and no one likes me. Why do you say that? Pee-wee's mom stopped and turned as she got out of the car and looked to him. Because of my sickle cell, they think I'm contagious and that I have the cooties. What? Sickle cell's not contagious. It's hereditary. You have to be born with it. Maybe we can talk to your teacher and the class about sickle cell so they can understand you're just like them. You just have a few things you need to do to stay healthy. I don't know, Mom. Pee-wee wasn't sure. It's gonna be okay, his mom replied. Okay, he replied, although he was not sure about this idea. It was dinner time, and Pee-wee's mom said, Pee-wee, it really bothers me that you were bullied today. Bullied? Pee-wee asked. Yes, bullied. You were teased and made fun of. That's bullying, said Pee-wee's mom. Pretty much, said Jada. When I was a young kid, Pee-wee's mom went on to say, I used to walk to school with a group of kids in the neighborhood. There was a boy that teased my friend named Erica because she was a little bigger than him. He called her fat and pointed at her and laughed. One day, I just told him to leave her alone. I told him that it wasn't funny and to stop. I could tell it hurt her feelings. You know what? After that day, he never said anything else to her. She walked to school in peace. When I was young, I never thought that one person standing up for someone else would make a difference, but it did. Pee-wee's mom ended her story by saying, you know, you can make a difference too, Pee-wee. The next day at school, no one spoke to Pee-wee. I guess it's gonna be a long day, he sighed. But once at lunch, Pee-wee got a surprise. A kid he didn't know got his lunch and came and sat by him. Even though they didn't speak a word, it felt good not to sit alone at lunch. After school, Pee-wee ran to his mom's car with a big smile on his face, shouting, Hi, Mom. Hi, Pee-wee. How was your day? It was good. Good? Okay. That's better than yesterday, she replied. Yes, ma'am. A kid at school ate lunch with me today. Really? What's its name? I don't know. We didn't talk much. We just ate lunch. Well, that's good, Pee-wee. Each day will get better. You're so charming. I can't wait for everyone to get to know you. The smart, kind, good-hearted, handsome guy I see every day. Just be yourself and talk about the things you like, she said. Thank you, Mom. And all of a sudden, Pee-wee was feeling more confident. That night, Pee-wee said his prayers before bed as usual. He asked for strength to make him brave enough to walk into the school the next day without being worried about the other kids. When morning came, Pee-wee got up and got dressed for school. As he ate breakfast, he said to himself, today is going to be a good day. His sister Jada said, if anybody messes with you, let me know. Pee-wee smiled and said, okay. He knew his older sister would always be there for him and protect him. But he had a good feeling about the new day. As Pee-wee walked into school, he heard someone say, Hi, Pee-wee. He turned around and saw the kid from the lunchroom the day before. Hi, Pee-wee said with a smile on his face. Hi, Pee-wee, another kid said. Hi, Pee-wee said. All of a sudden, Pee-wee saw a lot of friendly faces. As Pee-wee entered the classroom, he was confident that it was going to be a great day. Hi, Pee-wee, said the girl sitting in the front row. Hi, Pee-wee replied, smiling. When lunch came, Pee-wee didn't know what to expect. But as he got his lunch and sat at a table, the kids that spoke to him earlier in the day came and sat next to him, this time introducing themselves. Hi, Pee-wee, I'm Charlie. I'm Sarah. I'm Aiden. Hi, Pee-wee responded. As they ate lunch, Charlie asked, Hey, Pee-wee, do you like video games? Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do after homework. What's your favorite game to play? It seems sports or racing games. Then Aiden joined in saying, Hey, football is one of my favorite games to play too. They all began to laugh and talk about their favorite parts of the game and shared their highest scores. As Pee-wee looked around at everyone, talking and joking with one another, he remembered what his mom said, just be yourself. And she was right. Just then, Pee-wee's sister Jada walked into the lunchroom. She saw Pee-wee was not alone, and she thought to herself, wow, my little brother is actually having a good time laughing and joking with his classmates. This made Jada smile. She saw that the other kids must have given Pee-wee a chance. He has always been a charmer, she said quietly. Jada knew then that her little brother would overcome the situation. At the end of school that day, when Pee-wee's mom arrived to pick them up, she spoke to Miss Phillips first. Hi, Miss Phillips. I heard Pee-wee had a rough couple of days, said Pee-wee's mom. Miss Phillips replied, Yes, I saw something was going on. Pee-wee's mom went on to say, Pee-wee told me that the other kids were teasing him, saying that he had cooties, which made him feel sad and left out. I'm so sorry this happened to Pee-wee, Miss Phillips said. I can speak to the class if you would like. Just as Miss Phillips and Pee-wee's mom were talking, Pee-wee came running out of school with the biggest smile on his face. Voices in the crowd were saying, Bye, Pee-wee, and see you tomorrow, Pee-wee. And Pee-wee shouted back, Bye, guys. Pee-wee's mom and Miss Phillips saw all this, turned to each other, and Pee-wee's mom said, Look like today was a better day. Seems that way, replied Miss Phillips with a smile. Going from Going home from school that day, Pee-wee couldn't help but to smile as he looked out of the car window. While driving, Pee-wee's mom asked, How was your day, Pee-wee? It was great, he replied. Jada chimed in saying, Yeah, I saw Pee-wee in the lunchroom talking with his classmates, having a good old time. Pee-wee looked at his mom and said, You were right, Mom. Just be myself and talk about the things I like. I knew I would have, who knew I would have so much in common with the other kids? Well, it's been a heck of a week and it's not even Friday, said Jada. Everyone in the car laughed. Later that night, as Pee-wee's mom and dad was tucking him into bed, his dad said, So I hear you had a better day today at school, Pee-wee. Yes, I did, Dad, Pee-wee went on to say. I'm so happy because I was really feeling alone at first. It's pretty lonely when no one wants to be your friend and teases you. It made me want to disappear. Pee Wee's dad looked down at him and said, "You are never alone, son. We're always here for you." Pee Wee's dad continued to say, "There's no disappearing. You have a purpose here on earth. We all do. It's a special plan written just for us. Everything we go through is preparing us to one day tell our story so that we can help others. Our experiences build our testimony. You're loving, smart, and strong. You are a sickle cell warrior, a champion. You can do anything you set your mind to. We believe in you, Pee Wee. Remember, son, if you ever need to talk, we're here for you." Pee Wee's mom and dad then turned out his lights and said, "We love you, son. Good night. I love you too. Good night." With a heart filled with love, Pee Wee fell asleep, feeling more confident and stronger than ever, prepared to take on whatever tomorrow may bring. And that is the first chapter of our Pee Wee series.
So tell us more about you and how this book came to fruition.
Well, like you had stated earlier, I was the president of the Sickle Cell Association for 12 years, um, with the association for 15 years. I seen the need to have a relatable character, something that I didn't have growing up. And just like Janica, I felt pretty isolated and I didn't really see other warriors when I was younger. So I had nothing to relate to. So once I retired, I still wanted to be very active in the sickle cell community and be able to bring a character that our warriors can relate to, but any kid can relate to. Um, and that's how Pee Wee was born. I was looking through a book my family had wrote within the family to explain sickle cell, and they used characters in that book. And I started thinking and had a vision of Pee Wee, and I just started writing the story. A lot of the stories in this book are true, as far as being teased as a kid on the playground. And even as far as when I was in junior high school, being the person to stand up for someone when I seen them being teased. That story is also true in the book. The book is so near and dear to me, even to the point of Pee Wee's bedspread being my son's bedspread when he was growing up. So when he first opened the book, that's the first thing he noticed, like, "Hey, I noticed that comforter. I know that comforter." So this is definitely a part of me and just wanting to spread love throughout the world and let everybody know everyone's going through something, you know? So just be a little more patient, be a little more kind, and lead with love.
Thank you. I'm going to actually, Dr. Kim Smith Whitley, who is our moderator, I'm going to actually turn it over to you. Let me know if you would like to take this opportunity to get feedback from our attendees at this time before you start. That okay?
Yeah, I think that this is a wonderful opportunity to get feedback from our attendees. And one of the things that I already noticed, Dr. Rowley, in the chat is someone had the same question that I was going to start with. So I'm going to try to phrase this a little differently and then turn it over to the audience. But I'm very inspired by the illustrations in your two books. How did you choose the illustrator and how did you guide them to really put your message into pictures? Janika, do you want to start?
Oh yeah, I'm happy to go first. Um, the illustrations in My Friend Jen, I went through a grueling process of getting submissions from about, I think I whittled the list down from about 42 to 12. This is long, over a period of time, just from looking at artists and things online. But for me, it was important to get the characters to look how I wanted them to look first. So once I got Jen looking how I wanted her to look, which was a lot like me as a young child, we then kind of worked on doing the other illustrations. But I really wanted them to just be simple but clear. Was kind of always my aim, and it can be a difficult process, I guess, but it was a successful one, because I mean the illustrations in the book, and even me looking at Tanya's illustrations as well, I was like, wow, it really kind of just brings these stories to life. And I think that's what's important, especially when it comes to children's books or books that are targeted at children. It's about capturing their attention, the brightness of the colors, the characters' faces. All of these things are really kind of important to make sure that you're keeping the children engaged as well.
Excellent. Tanya?
Hello. Yes, it was I was working with a publishing company actually, and it took a few drawings. I want to say about 4 drawings before they sent the photo to my Arthur's portal, and I said, "Oh my goodness, that's Pee-wee." I really needed to get the main character down in order to have the surrounding characters drawn out. So it was a bit of a process, but working with the company, I got an illustrator assigned to me. And so we just kept working through it until they got it right. And I would send it back and they would, we would ping pong it until it was right.
That's amazing because they're both so spot on. I think that they engender a spirit in the illustrations of confidence and cultural awareness and sensitivity and pride that is really inspirational. So I just like to say that that is just a wonderful feature for both books. I think the next question is, I think coming from Lisa Rose, how did you publish? So I think she's asking about, did you all self-publish? Did you reach out to a publisher first? How did that process start? And then we're gonna switch order this time, and Tanya, we'll start with you since you're already unmuted, and I wonder if you could talk about the process for you.
Yes, what I did first was I researched publishing companies. I wanted to go with a company with my first book so I can see the process and learn the process before stepping out on my own. So I researched companies, and it was the third company I contacted that I talked to that seen my vision, and the chemistry was awesome. So I ended up going with Fulton Books, which was the third company I contacted. So I just kept going until it felt right, and felt like the company was 100% behind me, and they understood the project, and they were willing to take their time and work with me, being my first time publishing.
Shall I just go?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I originally wanted to go down the same kind of traditional publishing route, mainly because I just felt that the book that I was trying to create, there was a need for it. And I felt like if it could get, published by one of the mainstream publishers, like, we've got Penguins, we've got, the Roundhouse, there's so many amazing publishers, Hatchet, and I wanted one of these guys because I actually thought that if I could get a deal like that, it would bring a lot of awareness to sickle cell as well, and that would kind of be another part of the process. I contacted literary agents, contacted publishing houses for about 9 months, and kind of continued to get, either no response or, one agent said, they don't really see the need for the book. I think that response was one of the ones where I said, you know what, this is something that I'm going to have to do myself. Because for them to say that there's not a need, I think that just is all the more reason why books like this are needed, to show that there is a need. It affects millions of people worldwide, not just those that are living with it, but families, friends, everyone that supports them. So it affects a lot more than just those that are living with it. So I ended up publishing my books myself through a publishing house. I also am the founder of JLG Publishing. So I published my books through JLG Publishing. I also did an internship with a publisher to kind of learn the ropes and things like that and get to see how it worked. And I think the process of me getting, doors shut in my face and turned down was something that one motivated me to help others that were perhaps going through the same thing. I think that everybody has amazing stories, and some of them might be really important to us culturally, and being a part of history is something that I think is really important. So the journey kind of enabled me to kind of, go into a different realm of helping other people to share their stories too. So it was good in the end.
So I am a pediatrician. And so one of the things that I know families struggle with is just the right time to open up these conversations with their children about their chronic illness, about sickle cell disease. And I always say that you need to take some cues from your children because they will let you know, but also you don't want to let them get so far ahead in their sickle cell journey that they don't feel comfortable starting conversations with you, because you won't know unless you ask them what they really know, right? So could you all talk to me about when you all maybe realized that this was an important feature of your books, and if you feel comfortable talking about how that resonated with you with your own life experiences?
I'm happy to, we'll just switch. I think for me, the age when I felt like I could have needed something like this was when I was in primary school and I wasn't allowed to go outside. So the UK, very cold winters, and my mom had made it clear to the teachers that if it was cold outside or icy or raining, I wasn't allowed to do like playtime outside. And so I had to stay inside and watch all the other children kind of still play outside. And it almost to me felt like I was being punished for something, to tell a child that they can't go and play. And no one was, inside with me. It was just me and the teacher, which is usually what happens when you get in trouble, or if you're rude in class, you then have to stay inside with your teacher. It's a punishment. So I remember telling my mum that I got in trouble for no reason. And it was then that she kind of explained to me, this is why, this is what happened. And she did give me a booklet, and I remember the booklet being black and white and saying all the things that I couldn't do, and had pictures of like a child sitting in front of a fireplace with children playing outside, and you can't do this and you can't do that. And so I think that kind of left an imprint in me somewhat. And why, when I created this book, it was all about there's nothing that you can't do. You can do everything, even with sickle cell. So I kind of turned that experience on its head in creating these books. But I think you're right in saying that children will kind of express that feeling at some point, and it's good to have something positive to give to them at that stage as well. So me and Tanya got this on point.
Yes. Is it my turn? Am I unmuted? Yes. My experience, I guess I noticed that I was different when I had more doctor's appointments than my siblings. It was 5 of us growing up in the same house. So I was the one that went to the doctor more often. And I can remember at 7 years old, being at a doctor's appointment and the doctor telling me and my mom that I will most likely not see 21. And at 7, I was like, well, that's a long way away. But it kind of wasn't that far away. And my sister was 4 years older than me. So I'm looking at her saying, okay, so when I get close to that age, something's going to happen, which was kind of hard on me because when I became 15, 16 years old, I felt like I was about to die. And I need to get out here in this world and do a little bit of everything because I'm about to not be here. So that put an impression on me growing up to kind of, I lived a little fast because I need to do this and I need to do that and I have to get this done because I'm not going to be here to, I didn't even think I would have children. So I was a bit isolated when it came to dealing with that. And we didn't talk about it that much in the household. So I was just kind of left with my thoughts. So in creating Pee Wee, it opens up the conversation about the hard things that you may go through, some things that we may not even want to talk about as far as bullying and dealing with sickle cell and different things, because we want people to know we're warriors. We're strong, you know. I know sickle cell warriors, the ones that I know are some of the strongest people that I've ever met. And that's what we want to give out. And that's what we have to tell ourselves to keep moving forward. And I wanted Pee Wee to be an instrument where the parents can start a conversation. And sometimes if the support isn't there like that, the child can read that book and know that they're not alone in this world in dealing with this illness, and that everyone has something they're going through. And, you know, just keep moving forward. There's no age on this illness. You know, there's nothing to bound us. This no ceilings whatsoever. So we can do anything anyone else can do. I always thought growing up I would be the first to pass within my siblings and in our family. And as the years have passed, that's not true. You know, there's no pecking order. So just keep moving forward, stay strong, stay inspired. And when you have an instrument you can go to in your toolbox and relate to, it makes things a little bit easier. And that's what I wanted to do for our sickle cell warriors out here today.
Thank you so much for sharing. I think that one of the things that I often explain to parents is that it's so hard to find books that are positive with positive messages. And you use confidence over and over again in your book. And I really love that message. You also state you are never alone. We are always here for you. You are a sickle cell warrior, a champion. We believe in you. And that kind of positive messaging makes a difference. And then in My Friend Jen, there is nothing that my friend Jen can't do. But on the inside, she's a little different to me and you. So emphasizing these positive messages that differences aren't always negative, that they can actually be things that are positive, and using those messages, I think, came through in both of your books. And I know that that is something that I often explain to parents to look for. I see, and there's yes, support is necessary and needed from family and community. So that's in the chat, and thanks for that. The other thing that I think about often is knowledge is power. And I think it's often important to embed factual, accurate information into the experience. And you all both provided that in your books. One with talking about the blockage of the sickle cells in the blood vessels, either in the organs. Can you tell me why you all felt that was important to incorporate in your books?
I thought it was important to incorporate because it's the truth. it's exactly what happens to us. And for my family and friends, cousins, they really didn't understand what sickle cell did. They just felt like, okay, Tanya's here, sometimes she's in the hospital, but they didn't really understand the organ damage with lack of oxygen, things that can happen behind your eyes, the mental things that can happen. So giving that in my book is showing people that it's not invisible. It's doing things inside that you can't see. And it's important to know how to stay healthy and how to keep your organs and everything going like they should be, as far as with a balanced diet, a nice green vegetable diet and everything. So the organs are a big part of our illness, and our blood tests that we get every 3 months, checking your kidney function, your liver function. So it's a big part of the disease.
Janika?
Just yes, I think the same. Following on from that, it's funny, when I was researching to write my book, I actually learned a lot more about sickle cell than I knew. And it's strange because you think that, I live with this condition, so I know everything that there is to know. And I went through a number of years of having lots of different complications relating to sickle cell that I had no idea that I could get. And every time going to the doctors, speaking to my doctor and saying, why is this happening? And it was like, oh, this is a complication of sickle cell. This is a complication of sickle cell. And I was like, how many complications are there? So, that whole knowledge is power. I definitely think it's really important. And sometimes what I say is, if I knew then what I know now, I sometimes wonder what may be different about how I kind of grew up and the experience that I had growing up. So I feel like the basic things that I've put in the book, as well as kind of showing the blood cells, how they look and clump together, the three things: keeping warm, getting rest, drinking plenty. Those were three things that I always knew I had to do, but I never really knew why. And so I explaining those and putting those in there, as well as the other kind of diagrams, it just makes me feel like I'm explaining it in a way that children can actually understand why these things have to be done. And it can be a preventative. I used to think, well, why do I have to keep warm? My jacket doesn't match my shoes. And, I went through that whole phase. So I think it's important to kind of reinforce these things from a young age, and then bring up these conversations about why it's important and the impact that it has on us as sickle cell warriors.
Yeah, there's some wonderful comments popping up in the chat. I just wanted to say, Mariah says, these books are great, very important for maybe a whole classroom to read for elementary school age kids to understand their classmates living with sickle cell disease. I remember not being able to run and play kickball like my classmates. It made me feel sad and weak, and most kids never really wanted to pick me, and I felt at fault. It would have been nice if they could pick other games. So I think that trying to explain the sickle cell experience to classmates, to relatives, to siblings is really important. So I just wanted to share those comments because I really believe that those are more ways of expanding the reach of your books. And I hope that people are searching for ways to spread awareness and using your books to do so. One of the other things that I always emphasize is the importance of good eating, good nutrition, good sleep, good physical conditioning, and kind of like stress management, and really trying to start that early in life. And I think that part of that stress management is learning how to prepare for different situations. Pee-wee had to prepare for school, and Jen had to prepare for going to the doctors and doing things differently than maybe her peers. Can you talk about some of the reason that you included those themes and what other themes that you think would be important to bring forward for young people growing up with sickle cell?
think for myself, the themes of, you know, normalizing some of the things that I had to do. So we'll normalize playing inside and, you know, making up fun games as opposed to, you know, being outside all the time. And like the person in the comments said, playing kickball and things like that. You know, sometimes you have to get creative. And we did do a lot of, you know, I spies and hide and seeks when I was younger, just to keep everyone inside, you know. Especially family. I think it was easier with family, you know, for my mom to say, no one's playing outside, everyone's staying in, and you're gonna have to figure it out. You know, it's easier than being in school, but those, you know, games that I mentioned were ones that we played often, and sometimes they would get boring and we'd have to jazz them up. But those were normal things. Sitting on the couch watching movies. There's actually one of the pictures in the book where there's popcorn on the side because that's like my favorite snack. Normalizing being wrapped up, you know, so padded up. We have a joke in my household. Once I really wanted to play outside because it was snowing in the UK, and I was like, please, please, please. And by the time my mom had padded me up, I just started crying and said, I don't want to go because I couldn't move. Like I had that many layers on. And so that whole, you know, we got so padded up, we could just about hug, just making light of some of these situations that I actually had to experience. But one of the main things with my friend Jen, and being able to kind of use it not just for children with sickle cell, but for friends of, family members of, and you'll notice that the story is told from the perspective of Jen's friend. So it's, you know, my friend Jen has to do this, my friend Jen has to do that. So making it seem like Jen has a friend who's sticking up for her and is explaining to everyone, hey, this is my friend and this is what she has to do. So not just us as individuals being the voice, but having those advocates as well. That was one of the things I wanted to incorporate in the story, which is why it's all about my friend, my friend. It's not actually Jen. Yeah.
Excellent. Tanya?
Yes, I wanted to put in there Pee Wee getting ready for his night because that's what we have to do. If we're going on a trip, if we're getting ready for a big event the next day, we have to prepare, not just like everyone else as far as getting your clothes together, but we have to also get rest. We have to definitely hydrate. We need to stay stress-free. Sometimes I need to just basically calm down because if I get too excited about going somewhere, sometimes that will put me into a crisis. And it's like, I'm not sad, I'm not stressed, but I'm excited, but your body don't know the difference. So I just wanted to show preparation is important.
So true. I think about the impact that you have had on some of my young people who have read your books. And one of the things that is very important, I say to families, sometimes they just need an opportunity for a rehearsal. And sometimes you bring up situations that allow them to rehearse what they were about to experience because you've given them the opportunity to have these conversations about these different going to school, going outside if it's cold, staying warm, making friends. All of these different things are ways of opening conversation. And I think that that's what's been so important to the young people that I've taken care of that have read your book. So thank you for that. I know, Dr. Rowley, I have really taken advantage of this conversation and not opened it up for other people to ask questions. So I think that maybe I should do that now with you and Golda guiding me just to make sure that other participants have the opportunity to ask questions.
So at this time, everyone, if you're on Zoom, Golda will be happy to unmute you so that you can ask a question, or you can also put your question in the chat, as well as you can use the Q&A. So the floor is open to get feedback from our audience. And again, Golda will be happy to, if you raise your hand, she'll be happy to unmute you at that time. All right, Ms. Drake, you can speak now.
Hello. Hi. My name's Anita Drake. I am actually, I'm I can see you all. I don't think you can see me. Can you see me? I hope not. Well, I kind of got ready, but anyway, well, I think everything's going really, really, really well. And I'm just wondering in states like Florida, I see nothing about sickle cell. In September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month. And at my church, no one had an idea that it was. So I'm just wondering, is there a Sickle Cell Association in Florida? How active they may be? Um, what can we do about that? Because it's just, and Florida is a big state. I live in Melbourne, and Melbourne is Central Florida. It's pretty small, in between Orlando and West Palm Beach and Miami. So, but there's absolutely nothing here, zero. Tanya's my niece, and so I made some sickle cell awareness bracelets, and I took them to my church. I went online to see if there was any existing, and it was not. It was every other awareness, but nothing for sickle cell, which broke my heart. Um, so can anyone help with that situation?
Dr. Rao,
Tanya?
do you want to start?
You go ahead.
So I think that there are so many opportunities that are available to us. There are many advocacy organizations, including Cayenne Wellness, that can really guide you and show you how to connect with other organizations throughout the country that are interested in advocacy and awareness initiatives for sickle cell. I just want to put a plug in that June 19th is World Sickle Cell Day, Juneteenth. And if you want a reason to start something in your community, that date is right around the corner. And maybe inviting Tanya to some of the church events to read her book honoring sickle cell, World Sickle Cell Day might be a way to bring awareness to your community. And Janika
Hello.
too, to do that.
Yeah, Tanya's in San Diego, and again, I live in Florida. Um, Everyone that I know has got Tanya's book. And so we're
Good.
spreading the word as much as we can. And when I made the bracelets, they sold out. I could not make them fast enough at my
Wonderful.
church, but it was still all short lived. I did contact a lady that was part of the sickle cell organization in Brevard County, which is the county that I live in. But she was not that interested. She was, a white lady. Not that that makes a lot of difference, but I didn't feel any heart coming from her. I just didn't feel any heart in the thing. She said that she would go to schools in this area. Well, my son was in high school at the time, and he had never heard of that. And so we learned later that she was not doing anything that she said she was supposed to do. So then what do you do? What do I do as one person? I knew a lady whose son had cells, so her and I together did a cell walk and run in Melbourne through my church. It went over well, so much so that we found another sickle cell family, and we didn't make a lot of money, but we here just in support. That's all we could do is to enthusiasm, the caring that we should, and just or resources and the resource it was just not long lasting. It was just not, and the Black community, at least 99%, 95 maybe percent, but it's just not a strong support here, and it's sad. It's really sad because in Melbourne, the Black community is just not that big. But when you talk about it, they're happy, they're enthusiastic. As I said, I sold out of the bracelets. I couldn't make them fast enough, and then it went away. So that all happened probably about 10 years ago. Okay.
Well, if I can jump in, um, I believe that there is a Sickle Cell Disease Association in Florida. So, Ms. Drake, if you could, I think Golda has your information if you registered through Eventbrite, or feel free to put it in the chat. We will contact you with the sources that we have that are in Florida. Unfortunately, I don't know where it might be in terms of geographic location, but I know for sure that there is at least one. I don't know their city. The second thing I did put in the chat that there is World Sickle Cell Day, June 19th, as Dr. Kim Smith Whitley said. Kaya Wellness, for our second year, we're doing a marathon sickle cell event, which means from midnight, maybe you guys can hang with me, like Jerry Lewis Telethon. And so we're going to be having movies. Last year, we also had these reads, like Tanya just did, and Jen.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have information on sickle cell trait, on the disease, men's issues, women's issues, children, etc. But I do know that here in the States, there are a lot of World Sickle Cell Day events happening. But what we can do, if you give us till next week, we can find out for you what is going on in Florida and share that with you. And as a matter
Okay.
of fact, what we'll do is we'll even call first, because we don't want you to feel disappointed, because it does take one. Don't say that it's just me. It actually does take one to be able to make change. And I think that your heart and your desire is just what's needed. You just need to be connected, and we'll help
Yeah.
you with that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Tanya has told me about June 19th and everything that comes up, so I know about it, but I'm still here in Florida, in Melbourne, Florida, and I know about it, and it's nice. And so everything that Tanya has that goes on, and especially when she was president there in San Diego, I would do what I could from here to participate, to donate, to support. But I do. You're right. I feel kind of alone, and maybe you can help me change that. We'll see. I hope. And where are you located, ma'am?
So Kaya Wellness Center actually is in California, but we have a huge outreach, even internationally. And so we're here to help you, dear. Seriously, you're not alone. It's so
Okay.
awesome. So we are going to, if you can just make sure that you give Golda your info, give us a week. We'll do a
Okay.
little bit of research to find out which organizations are out there and connect you. I'm going to turn
Okay.
it back
Thank
over
you.
to, you're welcome. I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Kim Smith Whitley.
Thank you, Dr. Rowley. I think that one of the other things that I just want to really challenge us to think about is that when individuals learn about chronic illness, they also understand that there are certain aspects of their illness that they need to manage. And one of the things that you all incorporated very nicely in the books was messages on disease self-management, or how to take better care of yourself. You emphasized drinking water. Even Pee Wee had a bottle of water on the cover. So can you talk about what individuals can do as a support system, either as healthcare providers, members of your community, that can help support you in your journey as you all try to take on more of your illness management? Is there anything that you think that we should do differently as healthcare providers, as parents, as loved ones, to support you? Shanika, do you want to start? Tanya, you going to start? Okay, all right.
Sorry, I forgot whose turn it was, but it's fine. One of the main things that I say, or the things that I feel, is that I think that the best thing that, especially from kind of healthcare professionals and patient, that kind of relationship, is to listen to the patients and treat us as individuals. I know that we do say, you know, sickle cell can affect everyone differently, and through kind of learning a little bit more about sickle cell and more research, I've realized that there are many you know, variations of sickle cell gene, and so something that works for one may not work for someone else. But sometimes I do feel that we get categorized in little bunches. I don't know if it's the same, you know, across the globe, but I know very much in the UK, it's like, okay, everyone's on a treatment, so everyone needs to be on a treatment. This works for most people, so therefore, you know, we want you to do it too. And I very much believe that not everything is for everyone, and sometimes you know, it can just be okay. So I think there should be less of a you must do this and you must do that, and more of a conversation, you know, and making it more kind of interpersonal in that way. I think is one of the things. And friends and family just be there for support, I think. But from a patient and healthcare professional perspective, that's what one thing I would add.
Great. And you definitely had those people present in your book. So that is another thing to emphasize. Tanya, anything to add as well?
Yes, I'm going to follow up with what was already said as far as being a team, the healthcare professionals and the patient being a team. Talk to your patient, listen to your patient, because sometimes you could talk, but it's not, they may not hear you, you know? So talk and listen to your patient, believe their pain, and just push hydration and different great recipes for vegetables and different things. I found that at first I was only a corn and a green bean girl. But once I got awesome recipes, I love spinach, I love asparagus, I love Brussels sprouts. So if we can just share our recipes and do it in a nice, fun way, maybe that can get the kids more involved in wanting to eat vegetables. And to the family and friends and supporters, be there. But also, my mom used to make things kind of fun for me. I needed to take iron, and I'm the only one in the house taking iron. So she would fill up the ice trays with juice and put my iron drops in juice. And those were Tanya popsicles. And I had my little popsicle and I thought I was special and I was getting my iron intake. So sometimes parents just be creative in getting the child what they need and be there, be that ear, be that support. Sometimes you don't have to say a word. There are times when I'm in crisis and I finally get a dose of medication where I do get some relief. And just to open my eyes and see my loved one sitting there with me speaks volumes. It doesn't have to be any word spoken, but I know I'm not alone. And I know I have someone that's there with me and that has my back 100%. So if I can't advocate for myself when I'm in that bed at times, I have someone to advocate for me.
Thank you. I think we were going to get a comment from, is it Mariah Clark?
Oh, hello, can you hear me?
We can.
Hi, yes, it is Mariah. Great. Yeah, I just wanted, I wrote the first comment earlier, I think that we read out about, you know, just how the books are really important and, you know, just how it is to have sickle cell and be a kid and have your classmates go outside and play when obviously you can't always do that. So I really liked what Jenica was saying before. I'm 24 years old and I'm in the Hamden, Connecticut area. we do have like a sickle cell disease association with like New Haven that I recently just became part of. And it was just interesting to me because I spent so much of my childhood just like not knowing about sickle cell, not knowing about other people who had sickle cell, just like very separated from the community. And I never really met anyone else that had the disease I had. So I felt very isolated with that. And my mom was like trying to figure out ways to find other kids with sickle cell. And there was just like no real events or activities where like the kids could just go to like hang out together or talk. And I would go to the Hole in the Wall Gang camp. If any sickle cell warriors, anyone online knows that camp, that was a very fun way for me to go. And during the summer, feel like I had a real camp experience, and that really made me having sickle cell realize I was more of a community and not just like some kind of punishment or disease I had. As well. But all the kids who went to the camp with me would be from like Massachusetts and other places. So like I couldn't see them when it wasn't during the camp, which was very interesting. So I don't know if anyone was just interested in like if there's any events or activities where like people with sickle cell can get together and just like talk to one another and like really be in that kind of field together.
Well, because of COVID, so many events have turned virtual.
Yes.
But I think it's important to stay abreast as to when these events will probably won't be until 2022 till
Hmm.
we finally are able to safely get together. Dr. Kim Smith Willie, you have another take on that? I just think that since
No, I think you're
2020.
spot on. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
I don't know, just prior to even having, COVID, it wasn't really something that came up that much. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to thank the authors who read their books, and I think that their books are very helpful and impactful, and hopefully are helping the children who read them. I have thought about writing a book myself as well. I don't know if you have any advice to any other people with sickle cell disease who are who are interested in writing a book.
I would say go for it. First of all, because we need more stories like this, more authors, more awareness. At the end of the day, that it would be great if there could be a whole shelf of books about sickle cell, because I feel like everyone has a different experience, and therefore what you're going to share is going to be something completely different but still have an impact on sickle cell. Mine is all about keeping warm and doing this. Tanya's is about going to school and having children pick on you, but being confident and being brave. All of these are different experiences that as growing up with sickle cell we've all been through. And one person can't do it all. So, girl, you better get writing.
All right, thank you. Definitely will.
Yes, and I totally agree. We need a shelf full of books that we can relate to. And the more authors, the better. So if you do need a little help, a little guidance, I'm on Facebook, Tanya_Gentry. There's also a lot of support groups on Facebook. Just put sickle cell into your search bar, and they're private groups. So we go in there and we talk about things as warriors together, and we help each other. Even when warriors are in the hospital, they'll state they're in the hospital and we'll give words of encouragement to help them through that visit. So
Oh,
there are
wow.
places on Facebook you can go to get some support from other sickle cell warriors.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know about that. That sounds great. I will definitely try to look for some of those groups.
You're welcome.
Dr. Rowley, I'm going to turn it back over to you. I just want to say that this has just been a wonderful discussion. I hope people have more questions and we can keep them coming, but I know that you all have been inspiring not only to young people, but to all individuals who have a loved one living with sickle cell disease. So thank you very much for sharing your experiences.
And thank you. Do we have any other questions? We're actually doing great on time, everyone. So we have about 7 more minutes. I know we have people from all over who joined us.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to congratulate my sister in arms, Tanya. This is Renee. I'm up on the Central Coast. I'm congratulating you. And is it Jenica or Janika?
I mean, I just go with both because for 31 years,
I want to get it right.
Do you know what? Even in my family, it's Janika, it's Jenica. Like, it depends on the mood, what I've done, who's saying it.
Well, I think that you ladies are awesome, and it's nice to have a reflection of someone that looks like me to open a book and to see you on Zoom. It's just beautiful to see our brown skin. And thank you for your contribution to our community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Renee.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Anyone else? Comment, question? And again, you can do that in the Q&A or the chat. Well, I do want to take this time. This is our first Author's Corner, and I would like to be able to share with you how this came about. We've been doing our educational seminar for 16 years now. When we used to get together, we actually had a table. And surprisingly, there were people who had written books. They had written children's books. One who's no longer with us, she wrote, very well known, she wrote these African American romantic storybooks, and was the best-selling author for Under Essence. And so Judy Gray Johnson also wrote books. There were different books. So we wanted to do that, but again, we haven't been together. So we're trying to come up with a creative way to be able to literally highlight those in our community and celebrate what you all are doing. Seriously, um, this is the creme de la creme. There are others. So we hope to continue this platform to be able to every few months be able to highlight and spotlight other authors. The next time we come together, Dr. Kim Smith Whitley will be moderating, looking at it from adult perspective. So we have Dr. Simone, who is a sickle cell warrior, but also went to medical school and talked about that particular process of being a person living with sickle cell disease and having to navigate going to med school. And there's also going to be another person speaking about being a mom, that she just wrote a book that will be coming out by the time we actually get together. So this is our way of literally highlighting you all for what you do, so that this is just another way of spreading awareness and celebrating that we have artists, we have authors, we have people who are musicians. We come in all sizes and shapes and interest and talents. And this is just our way of being able to celebrate that. We have from Tanya's sister. I'm Tanya's younger sister, Aisha, and I just wanted to say both ladies read beautifully, and their books are great and creative ways to get the word out to break the sickle cycle. Amen. Thank you, Aisha. So with that, I would like to have Dr. Kim Smith Whitley give the final remarks, and then I will have Golda pretty much wrap things up. Thank you.
Dr. Rowley, I don't know how I could top that amazing ending. I think that one of the lessons that we shall all learn is that positive messages, empowerment, finding ways to live well with sickle cell should be a theme that we can continue to search for and express in our work. So thank you, ladies, for sharing your journey with us, for your works with us, and your positivity with us. Thank you very much.
Yes, I completely agree. It's so nice and lovely to hear, these universal youth sickle cell disease experiences, and to know that, all these narratives are going to be available to, young people living with sickle cell disease now and in the future. So I'm just so excited to have you guys in the world. But that is a wrap, guys. Thank you so much for joining our Author's Corner this evening. Please do follow us on the socials, keep up with us, and please do join us again in the future. It was a pleasure. Thank you. You're free to go.
Okay. Okay. Goodbye,
Quick,
everyone.
I
Have
had
a
a
good
quick
one.
question,
Oh,
Dr. Rowley. When
sure.
is the next authors? You said about
Great.
3 months?
That's going to be a great question. Golden, do you do you have that available right now? If not, I can look it up. If you give me two
I'm also
seconds, I can give it to you. Thank
Oh, thank you.
you. And I use a paper cheat sheet, but I can tell you momentarily. Let's see. The next one is Friday, July 30th, and we'll be featuring Dr. Simone and as well as I believe Jennifer Fletcher. That is July 30th, same time, 4 to 5:30. All right. And with that, I guess that is a wrap. So everyone enjoy the rest of your Friday and your weekend. Good night, everyone.
Hey guys, thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Oh,
Thank
and good
you.
night, Dr. Kim Smith Whitley. You're
Thank you.
awesome. Thank you.
Thank
Tanya,
Thank
you're
you.
awesome.
Wonderful,
And Jen.
Tanya. Jen, thank
Thank
you.
Thank you. I appreciate you, ladies. I appreciate the platform to share.
Thank
Okay,
you.
good night.
Appreciate
Good
you.
night,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone. But I put some links in the chat, but it might end.
Oh,
in-
perfect.
Thank
And
you.
good luck with the new book.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Bye.